All right. Hello guys, I hope that you all are doing well wherever you are. This is going to be a super quick video about my most recent experience with Royal Caribbean, Marina of the Seas. I took my first cruise ever. I've never wanted to take a cruise, ever wanted to take a cruise, but I bit the bullet and I went anyways. So let's get into it. The first thing that I want to touch on is the actual security check-in part. I remember as I was researching, I wondered, like, is it comparable to TSA at the airport? And I saw a lot of people saying that absolutely not. It is way more smooth, it's easy, and absolutely it is way smoother, way easier. Those of you that are frequent flyers, you guys know that TSA, especially if you do not have pre-check, sometimes it's like they want you to take off your drawers and you're definitely going to take off your shoes. This was nothing like that. And just for a little bit of extra background, I went through Galveston. So I went through Royal Caribbean, Marina of the Seas, in Galveston, Texas. But again, the check-in process was very smooth. It went fairly quick. They have team members standing at, like, along the line, because when you walk in, it's just like this huge open area. I didn't get video footage because I don't think that it would have been smart for me to do that, because it was a little bit rushed and I didn't want to get stopped by anyone, because they also have armed security there as well. That's just in the vicinity of the building. But there's team members standing like along a line that has a rope, blocking from individuals that haven't checked in yet and those that have. So you just pick one of those lines to get in where the team members are. They have their iPads and they check you in. I checked in ahead of time on the Royal Caribbean app. Well, not actually the app, I checked in on the website. For some odd reason, my app was not updating, but I still love the app. It came to be something very convenient for the trip. But you come in, they take your picture, scan your ID, or if you don't have your passport, you can use your current non-expired driver's license or your non-expired identification card, along with a current, or really what they call a legal birth certificate. So like not a copy, but it needs to be an actual state issued birth certificate you take with you, and they use that to verify you. I personally have my passport, which does make it a lot smoother, but you do not need a passport to get on the cruise, depending on where you're going. And we went to Mexico. And as we got on the boat, you go in and you find your muster station. Muster like mustard, but without the D, just muster. And on the app, and as you check in, you'll see it'll say muster station B12 or D10. Ours was B13, and along the top of the ship, excuse me, as you get on, you'll see those numbers. And so you just find that number. There's a team member standing there with Royal Caribbean. They scan your boarding pass and they let you on the boat. And from there, we went straight to our room. One tip that some people who take cruises will say not to do, but I actually did, because I saw a lot of, again, differing opinions, which is your check-in time. We checked in late because I knew that we were going to take our own bags. We were not going to give them to the team members to take to your room. So we purposefully checked in late. And because we don't live too far from Galveston, and I wanted to give us some room to drive there, because everybody always says go the day before because something might happen. Well, we literally live within hours of Galveston, so I didn't want to go the day before. We went the day of, but we left within enough time to get us, to the area. Unless anything went wrong, we would have ample time to, get roadside assistance or whatever may happen, or if there's a wreck, we still have ample time to make it to the island. So we checked in late, and I actually really loved it. We were able to go straight to our room with our bags, put everything away, and then we went to the Windjammer. And if you guys are Royal Caribbean researchers or cruisers, you know all about the Windjammer. It is their buffet. And I will tell you guys, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. They had a variety of food. They actually had so much food that I couldn't try everything that I wanted to try. And I am a plant-based eater, so it was better for me to go to the Windjammer because I had more options, more meatless options. And although you can go to the main dining and they will have a couple of like vegan or vegetarian dishes available for plant-based eaters, it wasn't as much as you would get in the Windjammer. And here's something that I also noticed, and some tenured cruisers may correct me on this, and please do correct me if I'm wrong, But one thing that I did notice is that in the main dining, it is the same food as the Windjammer. However, main dining will have a few specialty items such as like um, grilled salmon, which is also sometimes in the Windjammer. But in the main dining, it may be available every night, whereas in the Windjammer, it might only be available for like one night. And then like steak dinners and things like that that you can again, special order. Those don't come with the actual experience. Those are an additional charge because main dining is also included in the price package if you don't get one of those specialty plates. Again, which from what I saw, it's the same thing that's in the Windjammer, but the biggest difference is in the main dining, you're gonna get a very comfortable, very lush space, very well done, beautiful, large chandelier, and you don't have to deal with the buffet, you know, which is a crowd of people bumping against each other, trying to get to their food, especially when those French fries come straight out of the grease, fresh. People are like bombarding. You don't have to deal with that. You're gonna be seated. Typically, you're gonna have the same table every night and the same server every night. So that's gonna be a big, big difference for those that don't want to deal with the hustle and bustle of a buffet. They would rather have a sit-down dining experience. That was the biggest difference that I saw with the main dining and the Windjammer. But again, for me, I prefer the Windjammer because I'm a plant-based eater and I could kind of like take my pick and, you know, get what I wanted, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, which I'm sure that the main dining would have also done that for me as well. But it just made my experience better, being able to like look around and see what they had as opposed to, you know, constantly having to ask a server, well, do you have this or do you have that or what do you suggest? I was able to go look around on my own. And another thing that I would say as far as the food, each night there was something different. There was like a different theme. There was Italian night, there was Hispanic night, there was Caribbean night, and each, you know, there was food for each of those themes, and it was all pretty good. Some of the stuff didn't have a lot of seasoning, but you know, they're catering to a lot of people, so you know, you don't want to spice it up too much, and you have like kids running around or adults that may have some dietary needs that they, you know, have to adhere to. So, but it was still pretty good, and I enjoyed it. Another thing that I want to point out is that the ship in Galveston itself, the Mariner of the Seas in Galveston, it is an older ship. And it's not older in the space of when you go in, it's just like, oh my God, it's dated. What did I get myself into? Because like the promenade and the lounges and the casino area and like all of the public spaces, they have done a great job of keeping those very well kept. They are very much up to date. So those weren't dated at all. Those look pretty good. Now the rooms, the rooms are dated. I think that carpet was in that room from the time that they built the ship, and I'm one of those people who can smell everything. I can smell things that other people can't. So immediately when I walked in the room, the scent of the carpet like slapped me in my face. It was not a good scent. It smelled pretty bad actually. If you've ever, you know, smelled kind of funky-ish carpet, that was the smell it was giving, which leads me into my next thing. We had a balcony room, and I heard, you know, a lot of people say don't waste your money on the balcony, you know, which is true. If you don't get a balcony, you can potentially save a few $100s or up to $1,000. But I know me, I'm claustrophobic, and I had to have a balcony. I just knew that going in. And I'm very glad that I did, because not only did it give me what I needed as far as natural light, it also helped me air out the room. And I was like, okay, Royal Caribbean, you did a great job on the rest of the ship. I just need you to bring it on to these rooms, because they could definitely stand to be updated, or at least change the carpet. That would help the smell out a lot. But being able to open that balcony door and let that breeze come in and air it out, whew, it made all of the difference. So yeah, and also I heard people say, you know, bring an air freshener, and that's probably the real reason why they say bring an air freshener, like the little small room for breeze type of thing. Not something to plug in. You don't want to do that. Don't bring anything to plug in. One, because the plug-ins are limited. That's something that I saw, but I didn't get a lot of clarity about. But there's only 3 plug-ins in the Mariner of the Seas, and they're actually on the vanity. So two of them are the like standard American outlets, and then one is a European outlet. Now, if you want to convert the European one, you can get a converter, not an extension cord. Those are banned. You cannot do that, but you can get a converter for the European one if you need an extra outlet. But for us, we just took our little battery pack things, and those were outlets for us. And when we were out on the ship, we would charge those while we were out on the ship. But those two outlets plus our two battery packs work just fine. And there's also a USB port in the phone beside the bed, so you can use that for charging, or if you're like me, you can use it for your mini fan because I take my mini fan with me everywhere that I travel. So those are things about the room that could stand to be a little bit better. And also, obviously, from what I had researched, there are actually newer Mariner of the Seas. But again, the one in Galveston was not new, at least not the one that we were on. And we sailed out this past December, in beginning of December. But I had researched the internet packages on the ship. So I knew that we wanted to basically unplug because I do a lot of work all the time. I'm constantly online. So I wanted to actually put the phone down. However, I did want access to internet services. So I didn't do the Zoom package because you can get the internet through the actual cruise itself, which is Zoom, the fastest internet on the seas, or you can use your cell phone carrier. I have AT&T. They do offer a cruise package, and I looked at both of them, but again, I decided ultimately we just wanted to unplug and not do anything work related because I know myself, if I had had internet access, I would have been doing work when I was on that cruise. Just, I would have been working. But we didn't do that. And the main reason that I didn't, again, we were unplugging. However, they also advertised the iCafe. And the iCafe were wireless internet spots on the ship. And that included the Mariner of the Seas. No, it does not. Not the one that we were on. Again, older ship. Like I said, maybe there's some updated Mariner of the Seas, but on the one that we were on, the iCafe was not available. So if you don't get any internet packages, you are literally going to be without internet the entire time. If that's what you want to do, definitely do that. Again, we wanted to do it, but at least have that iCafe option. And when we got on the boat, the iCafe was not an option, which I wish that Royal Caribbean would update that on their website, because they actually do advertise that they have iCafes on the Mariner of the Seas, and they do not, at least not the one in Galveston. So that was something that just be mindful of. I did see some families do some really creative things that also were unplugging, if you will. They took walkie-talkies, which I thought was pretty cool. And I said, okay, maybe next time we'll get walkie-talkies, but more than likely we'll get the internet package, because I can't see myself not checking in like on the cameras or having to do something work related just a little bit while we're there. But if we do decide to just stay unplugged, we might do some walkie-talkies. I thought that was pretty cool. The vibe of the ship was, it was okay. The vibe was, it was kind of sort of geared towards adults a little bit. One of the things that I look for when picking a cruise, because again, I never wanted to go on a cruise, one of the things I was looking for was which cruises are more geared towards adults. Because I really wanted an adult-only cruise, but we don't have those going out of Galveston. You have to go to Miami, somewhere where you can get on like a Virgin Voyages or something like that. Virgin does not go out of Galveston, so that wasn't an option for us. But after some more research, I did see that Royal Caribbean was geared more towards adults. It didn't have as many kids as, of course, at Disney, which obviously it's Disney. You're going to get a ton of kids. And as Carnival, because, Carnival, I think, maybe has some things that are geared more towards kids as far as like different entertainments and stuff like that. So, and actually seeing the difference between the cruises, because as we were going to the, port, the cruise lines are not too far from each other, and oh my God, I saw groups and groups of kids getting on some of those boats. And don't get me wrong, there were plenty of kids on the Royal Caribbean, but not a lot. It was more teenagers. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 200 or 300 kids, like small kids. But again, the rest were like teenage age, and then mostly adults, which is what we wanted, because again, we couldn't get the adult only, which is what we really wanted. So this was kind of like the best option that we could find. And if you guys are regular cruisers, or think different or have realized different out of Galveston, please let me know, because I'm open to trying something different the next time that we do go to or go on a cruise. Now, the biggest vibe is I just want Royal Caribbean to get a shirt that says drink package because they have this drink package that, one, it's actually pretty pricey. Because for 2 people, it was just under $600, and that was the one with the alcohol that included everything. So essentially, if you go on the cruise, you get access to the food like the Windjammer, Johnny Rockets, the main dining, and then they have some other specialty restaurants that you can pay for as well. But like the beverages that are included within the cost of the actual cruise are like lemonade, tea, and water, basically. Like Coca-Cola, Sprite, things like that are not included in the price of the cruise. And of course, alcoholic beverages are not included in the price either. So my husband and I, we are not huge drinkers. I love a good nightcap, but that is a nightcap. I'm not a day drinker. It would make me feel miserable. If anything, I'm drinking a ton of water. So with that, we talked about it, and I was like, hey, we're going on a little vacation, but I don't feel like I'm gonna drink all day. And of course, he was like, I'm not gonna drink all day either. So we opted to not get the drink package, which I'm so glad that we did, because I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm going to talk about the price, but the drink package it gets people feeling really good. that was a vibe within itself. I was like, I'm just going to start hashtagging drink package, because yes, people had a great time. People had a great time. I saw people drink from the time they got up in the morning until the time that they passed out in the evening. People took full advantage of that drink package. Now, if you love a good drink and you want your mimosa, even if you want your coffee, frappuccino, stuff like that, because like I said, the ship itself is old, but the amenities in the ship are not. They've kept it up to date, which they have a Starbucks. So if you want your frappuccinos and all that, your chai lattes and everything, the drink package may be worth it for you, because there's an alcoholic one and a non-alcoholic one. The alcoholic one includes everything. The non-alcoholic one includes, again, like your frappuccino, your Sprites, Coca-Cola, blah, blah, blah. But also, if you're looking to save a little extra coin, because again, that drink package is on the pricier side. The alcoholic one is for it's like $3 something, but if you are there as a couple, both people have to get that drink package. They do not allow you to just get one drink package, which is kind of interesting, because you may have a couple and one of them is, they don't drink at all, but Royal Caribbean, they don't play that. They're like, no, if you guys are in the room together, both y'all are getting a drink package. So again, $360 goes up to, almost $700 easily. And for us, again, we just felt like it wasn't worth it. But for you, it might be. However, again, to save a little money, the Royal Caribbean will allow you to bring on beverages, not like big old cases or anything like that, but like the mini Cokes, mini Sprites, like anything in those mini cans, you can bring on a case of those. I think it's 1 case per person, I think. I would have to double check that, or I'll do my best to remember to link it below so you can see it. And you can even take on little things of wine. I'm not a wine drinker. It gives me massive headaches, but you can take those on the ship. The mini bottles of the, again, sodas, and then the small, like these size bottles of wine, which is actually pretty cool, wine and champagne. But we didn't need that anyways. However, I do wish I could have taken on some Sprite, because the husband did get sick, which was so sad. But he did his best to hold on and be a G about it, but he definitely got seasick, which we'll talk about that. If you don't know if you get seasick or not, take the sea bands, do take the Dramamine. That is something that I saw highly recommended. But I kind of felt like I know that I love the water, and the water loves me back. So I felt like I should have been okay, but I did go look for the sea bands right before we left, but I couldn't find them anywhere locally, and getting them off of Amazon where I live, they would have been here after the cruise was over. So it's like, okay, what the heck, we'll see. I did not get sick, the husband got sick, and the people that say you cannot tell that you were on a ship, you're lying. You are lying. Now, the Royal Caribbean Mariner of the Seas is only 14 stories high, but compared to the other cruise ships that we were beside, it was actually the biggest ship at the port. I felt the swaying. The husband felt the swaying. Like, you could feel it. Again, it didn't make me sick, but I could physically feel the swaying of the ship. So if that's something that you might be concerned about, or if you have vertigo or anything like that, be very mindful, because again, those who say you can't tell you're on a ship, you're lying. I mean, unless they were just talking about all the stuff that's around, maybe that, because there's a lot of stuff that is around on the ship. Not too much, but pretty good amount. But as far as the feeling of being on the ship, we both felt it, and yeah, he got sick, I didn't. Please proceed with caution. And another thing too that I thought about as we were going on is the excursion. I don't want to say that I wouldn't do an excursion again, because again, like I said earlier, we went to Mexico, we went to Cozumel, Mexico. The excursions are geared, at least for Royal Caribbean. Again, y'all have to, if you are a heavy cruiser and have done, been with other lines, it is very much geared towards the cruise line. So when they take you out to do different things, the cruise line typically has some type of ownership or authority over those spaces, or even maybe some type of contracts with these different spaces. So it's definitely geared towards the cruise line and their bottom line, which is profit, right? They want to get the bang for their buck. They want you to spend money where they're going to profit from it as well. And for me, being the little adventurer that I am, I wanted to go off and explore more. So I thought to myself, maybe getting a private tour guide another time would be better, because I would have liked to go maybe onto the mainland, or maybe over to Cancun, or Playa del Carmen, I forget. But it's something that's right there close to Cozumel as well. There's a port there too. But if you guys have gone on a cruise and got to the port, that when you get to the port, you can go wherever you want to go, as long as you're back by the time you need to get on the boat. That's the main thing, which we had to be back on the boat by 5, and we actually got back on at 3, because we're not huge shoppers. I do my best to shop with intent, so doing all the souvenir type things is really not my vibe. Again, I wanted to do more of adventure type stuff, which we did go on the Mayan ruins viewing. Here's another fun fact: the pictures that they use on the little excursion things, they are false advertisement. They are false advertisement, and I said at Royal Caribbean that it's false advertisement, because they'll put one of the one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is the actual Mayan pyramid that you think about it. We did see one of them, but it was actually in the middle of Cozumel. It wasn't the actual excursion itself. But the excursion was okay, but again, false advertisement. So be aware of that, or be very well knowledgeable. Maybe you heard it from somebody else, or you're in a group and they have told you what it is, because you may go and the experience might not be exactly what they proclaimed it would be or depicted through the pictures. So just be cautious of that. I'm not mad about our excursion. It was fine. I did enjoy some of the history about it, and if you're like me, I don't believe everything that everybody says, but you take what resonates and leave the rest. But I loved going around the island. We got a chance to see basically the entire island, which was gorgeous. Seeing the jungle of it all. Hell, a snake even crossed the road as we were coming out of one of the Mayan ruin places. So the excursions can be worth it. There were a few other ones that I wanted to do but didn't get a chance. But again, when you go to port, that's something that I would say plan ahead for, because if you don't want to take the ones with the cruise, which taking the ones with the cruise, granted, it is safer, because you're going to be kept up with somebody that is affiliated with the cruise line, is essentially responsible for you getting to that destination and getting back. Now, if you choose to go do something on your own, obviously you're responsible for yourself. And you're in a foreign country, especially if you don't speak the language, you do the math. So, definitely proceed with caution. But that is something that I would consider, especially if I was with a group of people on that cruise, because I love to go and just be in the organic space of wherever I'm going. So with that, I would do the excursion again, but be mindful that it might be a little bit of false advertisement. And then lastly, trying to make sure that I don't forget anything that popped up and I thought about. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And y'all forgive me because I have been stalling on making this video, but I wanted to go ahead and get it out before work takes over my entire life again. Let's see. Cruising in December, I know some people were worried about the weather. It's not bad. The weather this year has been really funny anyways, because even in Galveston, the time that we did go on embarkation, it was a little cooler than what it normally is in Galveston, but it wasn't bad. Now, the even better part is once you get outside of Galveston, it gets warm. You begin to feel that tropical weather. The hoochie daddies are on, the bikinis are popping. By day 2 of that cruise, when you're at the day on sea, it is like literally lows in the 70s, highs in the 80s. It's just a beautiful, beautiful type of weather. So if you cruise in the wintertime, you don't have to worry about the weather, at least not here in the South. I can't speak for the East or the West Coast, but in the South, cruising in December out of Galveston, I did not find this to be problematic at all. Now, you will get that breeze when you come back. So when you get out of Mexico and you're coming back, or wherever you go, and you start getting back closer to the US, the weather did change and the breeze was breezing. People had their jackets on because it was cold. The 11th floor, which is where the pool and all that stuff is, it was very sparse because people were cold. Oh, and one other thing that I did want to mention, kind of going back to that adults thing, the Royal Caribbean Marina of the Seas does have 2 adults only sections, well 3 if you include the casino. However, kids walked all through that casino. I can't even hold you, like they did. They were all walking all through. So they weren't not there, but they were coming through. There is a closed off section with 2 hot tubs and a small pool, and like the lay beds that are adults only, but the kids can walk through there as well, but at least not like sit and hang out. So you have that, and then there's the nightclub, which is called Ellington's. That one is adult only, so if you do want to get away from the kids, especially at Ellington, because you have to scan your card to actually get in there, so there's not even a walkthrough of kids, like they're just not in there, at least from what I could see. Now maybe that's just the nightclub thing, I'm not sure. Oh, I almost forgot. So the Marina of the Seas does this adult show, and it's not like adult stripper tease. No. I forgot what it was called. Some kind of quirky name. If I can remember, I'll link it below, or I'll put it below in the description. It was interesting. It was very interesting, to say the least. I think that they could keep it fun, but make it more sanitary, if you will. If you've gone on Royal Caribbean Marina of the Seas, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm not for or against it, but yes, it was a very interesting show. But the other shows, that's another thing. I almost forgot. Sorry, you guys, I'm all over the place. But hopefully this helps somebody. They do give really great shows. So every night there is a show that Royal Caribbean puts on with their actual performers and people that they contract with, and they also bring in independent contractors. There was a comedian, there was a musician, and the shows were actually pretty good. Nothing to write home about for me because I'm not too into that, but as far as like, having something to do, something to see. And one of the ladies had a beautiful voice. I can't remember her name, but I know she was from Hawaii. Had a just incredible voice, did a great job. The dancing, the ice skating, it was all good. So you do get a chance to experience that. Now, the activities that they have through the day, I wouldn't say, again, nothing to write home about in that aspect. There was a lot of things geared towards consumerism, like, to go shopping, which of course, cruise lines want to make money. And that bingo game, let me tell you, even though there was a winner out of the crowd, the real winner was the goddamn cruise line, because you do the math. $40 minimum, and you got 200-300 adults buying multiple $40 cards. Yeah, you do the math. The cruise line was winning. But yeah, not too much. There was a lot of trivia games, and those, thank goodness, for life-saving, because otherwise I wouldn't have had too much to do, because a lot of the stuff I really wasn't interested in. and I don't drink all day. But if I, decided to go back, I would give Royal Caribbean another try. Again, I would probably choose a different room. Maybe one of the suites is a little more updated, but all the states room, I'm sure, have the same aesthetic. They do need to consider upgrading them, but they may be getting ready to phase that ship out. Who knows? But all in all, would I go back? Sure, I would go back. And this is coming from someone that never wanted to go on a cruise in the first place. And one of the biggest reasons that I would go back is because the price point is almost unbeatable. You can take 2 people on a cruise for a fraction of what you would pay to fly to that destination, pay for the flight, pay for the room and board, pay for your food if it's not already included into the resort or wherever you're staying, pay for transportation, all of that included. You can pay half of that on a cruise. Now, I know many people say to get your cruise in advance. I did it all the backwards way, you guys, and it worked out well for me. I booked this cruise literally 33 days before the cruise left, before embarkation. 33 days before. I got a really great deal because it was right around the holidays, so they had a special going on. It was 40% off the second person. Then there was an additional 30% off coupon, and then there was additional 10% for Texas residents porting out of Galveston. So I got an incredible deal for 2 people, and within the package, you do get your food. Yes, there are specialty restaurants that you can pay for if you want to, but if I'm already paying for it, I'm gonna eat what I've already paid for. And like I said, the food was not bad. It was actually pretty good. Some lacked a little seasoning, but I keep my pink salt in my bag, so it was good. And they have all the little fixings and stuff that you need. But the price point is amazing. If you can stick around for a good deal, and they don't put out when they're gonna put those deals out, because they run specials all the time, but even since I bought my package a few months ago, I can see how they, the prices stuck up and down. And of course, you have your slower seasons when you get the best price, which is between, December and February. But I went in December because it just works best for my work schedule, as opposed to going in the summer or whenever. But those are peak seasons anyway, so you're probably going to pay more. But again, if you purchase within those huge sale windows, which again, I just kind of lucked up on it after just perusing the website every day for about a few months. And again, I bought the tickets 30 days out. I got the room that I wanted. I got a better price than I was hoping for. So that alone, I would do it again. Because instead of paying $5,000 to just take a trip to Mexico or Miami, and I know some of you guys might be like, oh my God, who is spending $3,000-$4,000 on a trip to Miami or Mexico? It's easy to do if you are like me and you have preference, and I do have preference. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not like, beer budget champagne taste, no, not at all, but I do like, direct flights. I like, and I don't do standby. I do like certain amenities and hotels, which is definitely not what the Royal Caribbean was providing, but that's why I say I'll try a suite next time and then update you guys on whether suite was better or not. But yeah, I would, just because you can save so much freaking money going on a cruise. It's not the best for the environment, but I'm not gonna go into that. But if you guys are going, excuse me, on a cruise, or thinking about going on a cruise, I hope that this does help if you're going out of Galveston, considering the Marina of the Seas. If there's something specific that I can answer for you in the comments, just let me know. I'll be glad to do so, because we explored every floor of the ship except for floors 1 and 2, which is where the medics were, and the conference room, I believe. So there's no reason for us to go down there. Everything else we did explore to some degree. I will try my best to plug in pictures and videos in here somewhere, but that is it, you guys. Again, if you're going on your first cruise, happy cruising. If you're going to choose Marina of the Seas or thinking about it, it's okay. It's okay. The rest of the ship, besides the rooms, they are pretty, yeah, the ship is nice. It is. And yeah, just be prepared to take Febreze for that carpet if you can stand Febreze and not get a headache. But yeah, that's it, you guys. I'm going to get off of here. Again, happy cruising to you all, and I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.